Exporting your video is the last thing that you do after you are done with editing your video. So it's the last step in in editing the video. When you are done with editing your video, after you have added everything you want to add to the video and remove whatever you want to remove from the video, so the last thing that you do is exporting your video. So now let's look at how we can export our videos. Um, let's look at how you can export your video. Now the first step you take in exporting your video is you go to your file, you go to your file menu, go to your file menu. When you get to your file menu, you navigate to export. When you get to export, then you move to media, you click on the media. When you click on media, it will bring up the export settings. So at the export settings, this is where you do the settings for your video, the video that you want to export. This is where you adjust the settings to make it, um, you know, before you do your final export. So you do your settings right here. So we have first off we have the format of the video you want to export. You set the format first. So we have different formats for of videos. We have MP4, we have a MOV, we have AVI, we have different formats. But here now we have this is H.264. This will give you MP4 format, which is this MP4 format can play on any platform. You can play it on any platform, on any video player, on a social media, on your YouTube. You can go on your YouTube. Then if you don't want this H.264, which is an MP4, that you prefer another format, then that is when you click on this arrow. You drop down this arrow to see other available formats. You see other available formats. So you have different formats. This is where you can select from if you prefer any other format. You have a QuickTime. QuickTime will give you MOV, give you .mov. Then you have several other formats. You can even export in picture, in JPEG. You can export as picture. You can export the audio. You can export different formats of video and several other formats, even animated GIF, which is GIF. So you have several other formats you can export in. But in this tutorial, I'll leave it at H.264, which is a MP4 format. Then after that, you have your preset. It's better you leave your preset at match source high bitrate. You leave it at match source high bitrate. That means it's gonna take on the source, which is the video. That's the source for this export now. The video is going to take on the property of the video. You're going to take on the property of the video. But if you don't want to leave it at match source high bitrate, you can drop down this arrow to see other presets available that you want to export in. You have several other presets available. You have YouTube, you have Vimeo, you have Twitter. You have Twitter here. You have Twitter here. You have mobile devices. You have several other presets you can export in. But when you don't have a specific preset that you want to choose, that you have in mind, better you just leave it at match source bitrate, match source high bitrate. It's safe to export this way. Then after that, we have the output name. This is you can change the name here, because as it is now, is the camera numbers, the camera number that the clip has on it. So if you want to change the name of the video, that you want to export, to rename the video you want to export. Meanwhile, you can export it this way, leave it this way. Then when you are done with your exporting, of course, you can rename the video after you have exported it and it's already a video file. But you can as well just change it right from here. And also you can decide where the export will go to by time you export it. So let's look at how we can do that. You click on this. Once you click on this, you go to give us this window. Give us this window here. Save as. You can change the name right here. For me, I will call it my export. Call it my export. Then where that is where I'm exporting to. Where will this video be by the time I'm done with my exporting? Where will it go? So I can, if I wanted to go to desktop, I can leave it at desktop. But if I have a pre-variable place that I want it to export to, that means I have to now click on this arrow to see other storage that I have on my system. So once I click it, it will show me other places that this video can go to. If I want it to go to documents, I click on the document. So where we change to document. If I want it to go to downloads, I'll click on downloads. So it will change to download. If I want it to, so for me, I want it to be on desktop. I'll leave it at desktop. So I'll leave it at desktop. Then file formats remains MP4 because that was what I choose right here. So it's giving me file format MP4. So I'm done with that. Then I'll click on save. So I save it. I have it saved now. Then this is a summary of the video that I'm exporting. This is the summary of the video, the frame size and the frame rate, every other thing that has to do with the video, the property of the video that I'm exporting, the audio and every other thing that has to do with the properties of the video I'm exporting. Then once I'm satisfied with all this, then I move to the other area that I think we'll have to also look into is our bitrate, our target bitrate. Then we go to you scroll down. You can use this slider to move your this to scroll up or I'll scroll down. To scroll up or scroll down. Then I scroll down to see my target bitrate on that video. So I check my target bitrate. So my target bitrate determines the size of the video. It's also determines the quality of the video by the time it's done exporting. If I reduce this bitrate way too low, it's going to affect the quality of this video, and the estimated file size also will drop very well, but it will affect the quality of the video. And if I increase it way too high, it will increase the estimated file size. It will increase the estimated file size, but that doesn't mean that it's going to increase the quality of the video way too high beyond the quality that you have from the camera that you shot the video with. So so if this size is too much for me, I can decide to drop it down a little without affecting the video too much, as in nobody will see that it has dropped. The quality of the video has dropped if you didn't take it too low. So now let me make it 5. Now you can see that now already I have 155 MB. So if I drop it to 5 now, that's the half. It's going to give me half of that. You're going to drop the size of the file. Now it has dropped to 80 MB. So if I drop it, if I reduce it more, let's say I take it to 3, just drop the size to 49 MB as well. So now if I increase it, let's see what will happen if I increase it to, let's say 15. You can see it has, the size has gone to 230 MB. So you decide what you want to do with that, but it's also always good to just maintain a good number that will not affect the quality of the video. And also perhaps you want to send the video via maybe via your phone through maybe WhatsApp or some other other platform that you think you want it to go fast, and you want it to upload on time, and that you can reduce it a little. You can take it from 10, maybe even to 8. You can make it 8 at least, a little bit from, or you just leave it at 10 if that is what if you are okay with that. So once you're done with that, the next thing is to you can leave the other part. You can use maximum render quality. You can use maximum render quality, but when you use maximum render quality, it's going to take a longer time to render. So if you leave if you check use maximum render quality, yeah, it's going to maintain a good quality. It's going to render your video, maintain the quality of your video at a maximum level, but your rendering might take a little while before it's done. If your system is powerful, if your system is strong enough, you can use maximum render quality. Otherwise, you can just uncheck it and go on with your exporting. So after that, the next thing you do the next thing you do is to export. So you have queue and you have export. You have two options for the final step here. You have queue, you have export. If you want to use queue, that means you have you want to render with media encoder. You want to render with media encoder. When you render with media encoder, it means that you can render more than one video at a time. That means you queue them on media encoder, and one will be you queue them on media encoder. We can get busy with some other things. So if one is done exporting, the next will start exporting as well. You can queue as many as you want. You can queue up to 10 videos that you want to export, and get on with some other things, and they will be exporting one after the other. But if you don't have a media encoder, you can just click on export. It means that if you have like 5 or 10 videos that you want to export, you have to be exporting them. When one is done, you have to come back manually and come and export the next one. So let's see what will happen now. If I click on this export now, as I click on this export, this is what it's going to give me. Give me this window. Give me this window. Is encoding first, and after the encoding, it will now export. So now I can't do any other things. I can't even go to my I can't go back to my Premiere Pro. I have to wait for it to finish exporting. I have to wait for it to finish exporting. So if you don't have media encoder, you can just go straight and do an export directly. So just exercise patience for it to finish exporting before you export the next one, or before you go to your Premiere Pro and do other things that you need to do. So I believe that I've been able to help you on how to export your video. If you have any question, just send me a DM and follow me on social media at Great Part Films. Thank you.